In a small village at the edge of a vast desert, there were two friends, Raj and Sameer. They had grown up together, sharing everything from childhood memories to their dreams for the future. They had been through thick and thin, supporting each other through the good times and bad. Their bond was unbreakable, or so it seemed. One day, they decided to embark on a journey across the desert. They were eager to experience the vastness of the land and prove their strength to themselves. Carrying little more than their provisions and a map, they set out into the golden dunes, excited for the adventure that awaited them. However, the desert is not an easy place. The scorching sun, the endless horizon, and the lack of water wore them down. They began to argue about small things: who was leading them in the right direction, who should carry the heavier load, and who was to blame when their water supply began to run low. As the tension mounted, Raj, frustrated beyond measure, lashed out at Sameer. In the heat of the moment, he slapped Sameer across the face. Sameer stood frozen, his cheek stinging from the blow, but he didn't say a word. He didn't argue back. Instead, he simply walked silently, feeling the hurt deeply, but knowing it wasn't worth the conflict. As they continued walking through the desert, Sameer reached down and, with trembling hands, scratched a message into the sand. "Today, my best friend slapped me in the face." The wind began to blow gently. Hours passed, and the two friends eventually came across an oasis. The shimmering water in the distance was a sign of relief. They hurried toward it, eager to quench their thirst and refresh themselves. But as Sameer stepped into the water to cool down, he misjudged the depth and suddenly found himself caught in the mud, struggling to stay afloat. Panic filled his heart as he started sinking. Raj, who had been a few steps behind, immediately jumped into action. Without a second thought, he dove into the water, pulling Sameer to safety with all his strength. His heart raced as he held Sameer above the water, ensuring his friend was all right. After the scare had passed, and Sameer had regained his breath, he sat on the shore, still shaken from the near-drowning experience. As he sat there recovering, he picked up a smooth stone from the ground and, with careful precision, he scratched a message on it. "Today, my best friend saved my life." He stared at the words for a long moment, knowing that this was something he would never forget, something that no time or wind could erase. Raj, still catching his breath, looked at Sameer curiously. "Sameer, after I slapped you, you wrote in the sand. But now, after I saved your life, you write on a stone. Why the difference?" Sameer looked at his friend with a gentle smile, his eyes filled with understanding. "When you slapped me, it hurt. But I know that pain is fleeting. The wind will come and blow it away, just like it blows away the writing in the sand. We should never hold on to the pain someone causes us. We should forgive and let go, knowing that sometimes people act out of frustration or stress. Pain is temporary and it will fade. But," Sameer continued, "when you saved my life, it was something I could never forget. You put yourself in danger for me. You acted out of love, not anger. What you did for me is something I can never take for granted. That is something I want to keep with me forever, something that no wind, no time can ever erase. I carved it on a stone so that it will stay with me always." Raj listened intently, realizing the depth of his friend's wisdom. He had slapped Sameer in anger, but Sameer had forgiven him without hesitation, understanding that hurt was temporary. Yet, when Raj saved his life, Sameer valued that act of kindness in a way that would never be forgotten. Raj's heart swelled with gratitude, not only for the life he had saved, but for the lesson Sameer had just taught him. He realized how often people hold on to past hurts, allowing them to shape their relationships and their lives. But Sameer had shown him that true wisdom lies in valuing the good, the selfless acts, and in letting go of the bitterness that holds us back. "Thank you, Sameer," Raj said quietly, his voice filled with emotion. "You've shown me something today that I will never forget. I slapped you, and you wrote it in the sand. But when I saved you, you wrote it on a stone. I understand now. Sameer smiled, nodding. Sometimes, Raj, we go through life holding on to things that hurt us, letting the wounds define us. But if we choose to remember the good, the kindness, and the love, we create something lasting. Like the stone, those moments of goodness stay with us forever. They help us grow, and they shape the person we become. The two friends sat in silence for a while, gazing at the desert, at the oasis, and at the bond they shared. They had both made mistakes, but they had also saved each other. Not just physically, but emotionally. Raj had learned that to value the things in life that truly matter, he needed to let go of petty grudges and hold on to the moments of love, kindness, and selflessness that would remain forever in his heart. As they continued their journey back home, they walked side by side, not as to friends bound by the pain of the past, but as to men who had learned to value the things that truly mattered, the acts of goodness that shape us and the wisdom that comes from understanding the power of forgiveness. The moral of the story. In life, we often face moments where we are hurt by those we love. But we must remember, pain is temporary. And just as the vines erase the words written in the sand, we must let go of past hurts, forgive and move forward. On the other hand, acts of kindness, love, and selflessness are like the engraving on a stone. They stay with us forever. We must cherish and value these moments, for they are what truly shape our hearts and lives. Let go of the pain and engrave the good in your heart. Value the things that matter most in life.